Morning to you. You're welcome to the program this morning on ITV, Thursday's edition, and the 30th day of the month of October 2025. So I want to say you're welcome back. I mean, in the sense that something that you saw last, so you are seeing it again. So it's only natural for me to say that you're welcome back. Anyway, the program is on your television right now. And of course, my name is Evan Sunokugie, and it is a delight to be with you this morning. Well, I'm not always alone on this program. I have my co-anchors right here. And even if they are not right here with me in Benin, but I can assure you that they are on your set and together we'll be on the program. Well, I have Messalina in Lagos. Messalina, pretty Messalina, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Evans. I mean, it's a beautiful day here in Lagos, beautiful weather, and I'm not alone. Patricia Gebres is here with me.
Good morning, Evans. It's nice to see you this morning.
Okay, like I said, Patricia Gebres is here with me, so we're going to be anchoring today's program together, or today's TMI together. So from Lagos this morning, we're going to be talking about the form that Tinubu signed yesterday. Tinubu excludes convicts of kidnapping, drugs, firearms offenses from clemency lists. These people were actually on the list, but yesterday he excluded them, and it has got a lot of people talking that why would they even be on the list at first? These people, the crime they committed, it's a whole lot. And them being on the pardon list, it's a no-no. And yesterday he excluded them, and he pardoned some set of persons also. And also we saw that Miriam Sandra's also, Tinubu reversed Miriam Sandra's pardon, convicted to spend 6 years in jail. So basically today we are just going to be looking and throwing more light, and of course we'll have our guests that will help us analyze this particular topic.
All right, thank you so much. Now, that issue of Sanders is actually generating, reactions and counter-reactions in the country. And that is what it's all about. So when things happen, the way people react to it, really calls for, it is an attention its own. I mean, something happened, it is an attention. And people also reacting to it is an attention. I really don't understand the issues behind the reason why there is a presidential, revocation now of that list of the names that were pardoned in that list. I think the presidency and, people that are close to the presidency, they have a better explanation to all that. But, for us in the media, it is for us to always let the conversation be on your television and also on your radio set so that you get informed, about it all, and you get along. Well, in Benin here today, we're going to be doing a follow-up, about what we did yesterday. Of course, if you were on your television yesterday, you would have seen the special advisor on media and communications projects, the of Mr. Esegbe, Godswill Esegbe. He was on our television yesterday, and he actually tried to, he explained, as a matter of fact, the reason why there is a kind of an expansion in a state executive council that we have today. I mean, very, very historical in the sense that never in the history of Edo State that have we had about 28 ministries and 28 commissioners. So he said it is necessitated by the shine agenda of the governor. That's His Excellency Senator Mode Okpebholo. So we're going to be doing the flip side of that, topic today. For us on independent television and radio, we always make sure that we give you two sides of the story. So we're going to be having the State Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Barrister Daniel Osa Uwage, and he's going to be joining us this morning, and also to make his reactions on that. Now, above it all, we're also going to be considering the cost of the cost implication of having 28 ministries and, of course, 28 commissioners in Edo State. So all these are going to form the basis of our discussion this morning. So as that talk show goes on this morning, of course, we're going to be obliging you so that we get you to see some excerpts of how we had that program yesterday when we had Godswill Esegbe, so that you get along, so that we actually keep you abreast with the issues that we are talking about. So all this will form the basis of what we're going to be talking today. Then, of course, we also intend to have the two-time former deputy governors. Former deputy governors in Edo State now. Talking about former deputy governor Philip Shuaibu, and also former deputy governor Marvelous Omobayo. In the media recently, on the social media has been agog with the reactions and counter reactions of the two deputy governors on who actually represented Edo State. They had court judgments and counter court judgments and all that. So if you are a social media freak, you would have seen it, how the discussions have been going on the social media. One claiming that he was actually the deputy governor, then of course the other one claiming that he was actually the deputy governor. So we tend to bring these two men on your television this morning, so that they can actually discuss on some of the issues that we are going to be looking at. So all this will form the basis upon you're going to be on your television this morning. Please don't forget to sit by, and enjoy all that we're going to be giving you this morning. So we'll take a short pause now, so that we'll see major headlines on our major newspapers this morning.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
So the program still right here on your television. So let's see the papers for today, the 30th day of October 2025. And our first port of call, let's see now the first port of call that we are following this time on your paper review segments. Don't forget the program this morning on ITV. Yes, our first port of call this morning is the Daily Trust, where we have National Assembly okays Tinubu's request to borrow 2.35 billion US dollars. So that's the first story that we are following now. National Assembly okays Tinubu's request to borrow 2.35 billion US dollars. Then Kanu confirms 4 new variants of polio virus. Also a big story there on your television. Kanu confirms 4 new variants of polio virus. Banks credit to private sector drops by 6 trillion naira in 4 months. That's another big story there on your screen. Then the big bold headline that you know, seeing looking at you on your set this morning, we have alleged coup plot. SEVA confirms raid in residence. You understand that recently we heard about the alleged coup plots in other countries. So this you know, talks about it. Alleged coup plot. SEVA confirms raid on a residence. You get a copy of the Daily Trust this morning so that you get to read that story as you get along. Then federal government withdraws a pardon for Miriam Sanda and other drug dealers. That seems to be making waves in the country today. Remember the so talked about Miriam Sanda as she made it in the list of the people that got presidential pardon. But we understand that the federal government has withdrew that pardon. Federal government withdraws pardon for Miriam Sanda and other drug dealers. You get a copy of the Daily Trust this morning so that you get to read it now. You can actually find that on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Then still on the Daily Trust, then alleged Christian genocide, U.S. lawmakers relying on faulty data. And that is what the federal government is you know, saying, reacting to the alleged Christian genocide that seems to have generated from the U.S. authority recently. So the federal government is saying that lawmakers relied on faulty data, you know, to that. Then protest curfew trail, Tanzania presidential pool. Even in Kenya, we understand that there are still pockets of reactions, you know, that met the declaration of Paul Biya as the winner of Cameroon, I beg your pardon, not Kenya now, as the winner of Cameroon's election. So the same thing seems to be happening in Tanzania. Protest curfew trail Tanzania presidential pool. You can actually find that on page 31 of the Daily Trust of this morning. Shettima to ACF, don't allow mischief makers divide Nigeria. And that's the story you get to read on page 6 of the Daily Trust of this morning. All right, so let's see more headlines as we get along. And our next port of call, let's see now. The next port of call, it will be on the Vanguard. And for the Vanguard newspaper this morning, we read how to fix Nigeria's security challenges by service chiefs. So you get a copy of the Vanguard newspaper so that you get to read that. How to fix Nigeria's security challenges by service chiefs. You can actually find that on page 5. Then there is a rider to that. Tinubu excludes convicts of okay, that's a different story now. Tinubu excludes convicts of kidnapping, drugs, firearms offenses from clemency list. That has to do with the revocation of the presidential pardon. And that's the story that you can find on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Then on page 23 of the Vanguard newspaper, but you have the headline on the front page, why we are backing Soludo's re-election. And that has to do with Anambra's election on the residents. You get a copy of that as you get along, why we are backing Soludo's re-election on residents on page 23 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. All right, so let's leave that now so that we can attend to other papers. And the next port of call, let's see another one now. And another paper that we have to look at this morning is, let's see now, is the Daily Independent. And top headline on the Daily Independent this morning. Let's read now top headlines on the Daily Independent this morning. Just trying to see how we can get it here. Don't forget the program is still this morning on ITV. Foreign inflows steady Naira amid weak domestic fixed supply. That affects supply. Foreign inflows steady Naira amid weak domestic affects supply. You get a copy of the Daily Independent and you read that as you get along your day. All right, so away from that now, let's see the next one. And the next port of call, let's see. The next port of call is on the Punch newspaper, where we read corruption. That's a coup controversy. Military tracks 45 billion naira in NDDC. You get a copy of the Punch newspaper, and you get to read that story as you get along. A coup controversy. Military tracks 45 billion naira in NDDC. Well, you get a copy so that you read the details and you get better information and you get the nitty-gritty of that story. All right, so away from that now. And the Guardian newspaper this morning, federal government backtracks on pardon as Nigerians question due process. All right, so that seems to be a major story in almost all the newspapers in the country this morning. Of course, we saw that in the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, and the Daily Trust. So it's also on the Vanguard newspaper, on the Guardian newspaper this morning. So like what we always tell you, that once you read, you get yourself informed. So if you don't read, you won't get yourself informed. So it now behoves on you to get better insight into all the stories. And you approach the nearest newsstand and you get to see all these stories. You can even, do it in your phone. I mean, you Google, and definitely you can get the information right there. All right, so we'll take a short pause now, and we have our first guests already in the house. So we'll take a short pause now as we make preparation to bring the State Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Barrister Daniel Osa Omege, into the program this morning. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
All right, beautiful morning one more time, and thanks for being there on your television, independent television. My name is Evans Unokuge one more time. Now, if you watched this program yesterday, I mean Wednesday's edition of the program this morning on ITV, you would have seen whereby we had Mr. Godswill Segbe, who is the special advisor to the Executive Governor of Edo State on media and communication strategy, and we were looking at the expansion of the new Executive Council in the state, very historical in the sense that it has never happened in the history of the state, whereby a state government having 28 commissioners and 28 ministries. So, well, you know, when things like that happen, reactions and counter-reactions, and it behoves on us in the media to bring it on the fore so that we get you informed and get you educated on the issue. So that was why we brought it yesterday, so that we have discussions on this. Now, some of the reactions that are meeting the development is that it is a kind of a necessity. That's one argument on one side. I mean, a necessity in the sense that the current governor of Edo State has an agenda, which is the Shine agenda. of course, Mr. Gosfield yesterday, talked about it and all that. Then why other arguments in other quarters is that it's a mere repetition because things it's said in such a way that you have some ministries that are being duplicated. Imagine somebody said the Ministry of Agriculture is there, then also you have the Ministry of Livestock. So all these are some of the reactions that have been trailing the latest developments of the expansion of the State Executive Council as we have it now. So what we're going to be looking at today is to do a continuation. I said it yesterday that we're going to make sure that we extend that discussion. So today's program is an extension of that yesterday's talk show, so that we have two sides of the story. So what we're going to be doing today is going to be having a flip side, on the discussion that we had yesterday. So we're also going to be looking at the cost of governance, along that. Well, to do all this discussion this morning, we are so privileged to have Barrister Daniel Osa Ogbege, who is the new Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Barrister, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Evans Onokuje.
Yeah, let me say congratulations on your new
Thank you very much. Good morning, Edo people.
Okay. All right, so as a way of setting the program now, so let's see how it went yesterday, whereby we had Godswill Esegbe on the program. Please do take a watch.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, now let's start from what seems to be a major concern before we, delve into the expansion of the State Executive Council. I mean, the issue of security. There are opinions from some, sectors of the state that the governor is perhaps, leaving the security of lives and property to campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 presidential election. How correct is that?
People has rights to their opinion. The fact remains that this governor is tackling insecurity with every sense of commitment, and this governor, since he came on board, has initiated strategies, security-wise, in order to curb the insecurity challenge that we are facing as a nation, not just as a state. The insecurity crisis is not peculiar to Edo State alone. It's not even peculiar to Nigeria as a nation. It's a global challenge. It's a global phenomenon. And the governor is doing so much in ensuring that lives and property in Edo State, they are safer than how he made them. For someone to insinuate that the governor, who is invited by his own colleague to come and commission project, as we speak right now, the governor is is on an en route to the project sites in the Ekiti State, where his colleagues invited him to come and commission. So he is carrying out national assignments. And that does not tantamount to the fact that he has abandoned the state. Sometimes when people wake up in the morning and make some fleeting steep statements, for us, they are speaking on a standpoint of ignorance, with all due respect to their opinion. But that's the fact.
Yeah, but I think you may not blame people, because the strategies that the Edo State governor seems to be putting in place seems not to be yielding results. I mean, there is a current issue that we are following in Edo State. I mean, the one that happened a few days ago, air routes, the Akure Road, whereby travelers were apprehended, kidnapped, and we understand that a particular one, that they paid the sum of 20 million naira to the kidnappers. So when people say this, that the security arrangement in Edo State seems not to be optimally looked at, don't you think they are right?
First and foremost, I am not aware of any rap song. The sum of 20 million naira be paid. So 20 million naira be paid. And secondly, I quickly want to, with all due respect, disagree with you that the strategy of the governor or the government is regarding curbing insecurities.
No, not me. What people are saying.
Please, I'm just trying to also react to, because you said it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the route you just referenced is boundary between Ondo State and Edo State. And don't forget that it has to do with collaborative efforts between the two states to mount, to secure the boundary that, between the two states. And that incident I just referenced, as I speak right now, of course, when I'm on live television talking about things like this, as a government, we try to speak truth to what is reality on ground, and not to come to television and preach propaganda. This governor, as is known today, in not just in Edo State, in Nigeria, is someone who does not play to the gallery. Is someone who does not dwell in political propaganda just to achieve cheap popularity. He's a governor who is genuinely committed to serving the Edo people and delivering the mandate that was given to him by the good people of Edo State. So I said that to say this. The issue of security, the intervention of these governors since he came on board is there for everybody to see. And don't forget that there is no solving insecurity challenges is not a rocket science.
Yeah, the intervention seems to be problematic itself.
Let me land my thoughts, sir. Thank you so much. The point I'm making is that as a government, this governor is doing everything to ensure that lives and property are safer in Edo State. I don't want to go back to how we met it. When he came on board, what he met on ground. We don't want to talk about those ones. We are talking about what he's doing. And I can assure you that in no distance time, some of these challenges we are facing will become history as far as the state is concerned. So the governor has invested so much. In fact, I stand to be corrected. I stand to be challenged that this governor has invested in ensuring, of course, in the security sector than any governor that ever governed the state. Yeah, the records are there.
Yeah, but let's look at it from another dimension now. Now, personally, I appreciate the state governor. I mean, the intervention of the vigilante group in the states is laudable, but that seems to be another problem itself. I mean, perhaps the governor may not be aware the seeming nature of the nuisance that people say it seems to pose to members of the public. I mean, almost all major streets in Benin, you find them, in company with the police officials, as some of them are alleged to, be constituting nuisance to members of the public, motorists and all that, asking for money. And that further heightens the insecurity issues in the state. Perhaps you may not be aware, or maybe the state governor himself is not aware.
In every human organization, when you have a leader who, as in the case of the governor of those states that we're talking about today, has been able to have that idea of bringing in an organization that has to do with security. And this organization is populated by human beings. The governor cannot be in the mindset of those individuals. It's just, for instance, under security agencies today, that people have a lot of complaint towards the manner in which they carry out their responsibilities. The fault is not from, for instance, at the national level, from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in the case of Edo State, the governor of Edo State. So the point I'm making is this: in every human organization, the challenges of having some bad eggs among such organizations exist.
Now, we understand that in the media, we understand that some of these guys have been profiled. Now, the question that we asked to that effect is that how long is the state government going to profile them? I mean, there are allegations how some of them are constituting nuisance. So members of the public are disturbed to know for how long will the state government profile them.
I'm not aware that the state government has those people, they went to, if you have followed the process of recruitment and training, they spent over 2 weeks in a training camp, and they were trained by service generals and retired generals in the Nigerian Army. And after that, they were dispatched to their primary area of assignments. And as I said before, Of course, in organization manned by human beings, there is bound to be some few individuals that are, so to say, to be bad eggs. As I said, it does not just exist only in this case that we are discussing. It happens in every organization. But what I can assure you that most time, some of these complaints by the public, which they have right to, when you take our time to investigate, to ascertain genuinely what really happened, you'll find out that you have a different perspective towards the narrative that was peddled. So the point is this: the governor will do all it takes to ensure that the interests of the Edo people are always protected and projected. Okay. And some of these challenges all the people are talking about, as I've always referred, we should not forget the fact that the governor has barely spent 1 year in office. Sometimes when people are analyzing issues surrounding this administration, or rather assessing the governor, they will be speaking as if this governor has spent 4 years in the office. This is a governor who has spent barely 1 year in office, and he has done so much. The facts speak for itself. You don't need to campaign about it, because what he has done, what he has achieved in less than a year in office is there for everyone to see. Okay. And they speak for itself.
All right, so away from that now, the issue of the historical realization that we have today in terms of the fully constituted executive council of the states. As we speak now, we have a full government in Edo State because we have a full-fledged executive council. I mean, all the commissioners have been duly inaugurated. So far, we have about 28 of them. Very historical because we've never had it in the history of Edo State. But you tell us right now, because people are also trying to ask the question, is this a necessity or just a kind of a mere repetition? As this discussion progresses, we're going to go through the various ministries. And, some persons are asking a question. Some of the ministries are repetitive in nature and in scope. So is this a necessity or just a repetition? I mean, the expansion of the scope of the State Executive Council.
What the governor did is not just expansion of the State Executive Council. Look, let me situate it the way it is are. Because I said before, people bound to have misinterpretation when they don't have the facts. These are the facts. What the governor did is a comprehensive restructuring of the ministries that were existing and a revival of the different ones. Today, the governor's vision for the state is encapsulated in a acronym called SHINE.
Shine agenda.
The SHINE agenda. SHINE as spelled: X stand for security. Okay. H, health. I, infrastructure. Of course. N, nutrition cum agriculture. Then E, education. Now, the governor, for him to realize his vision, encapsulated his SHINE agenda, there was a need for a seamless alignment towards that vision, which has to do with comprehensive restructuring of the existing ministry and revival of the defunct ones. So what the governor simply did is, of course, to have a proper coordination of.
All right, thank you so much. That was the talk show yesterday, the part A or the part 1 of the talk show. And of course, today is the part B or the part 2 of that. I told you that for us at Independent Radio and Television, we ensure that we give you two sides of the story. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. All right, so we'll quickly take this break now because this break is needed. And when we come back, we'll have Barrister Daniel Osa Ogbege to be reacting to some of the things that the media aid said.
ITV. ITV.
Essay to the governor on communications and media strategy started, talking about the security issues in the country. Then he cascaded it into the expansion, that the expansion is necessitated to fit into the SHINE agenda of the governor of the state, His Excellency Senator Mode Okpebholo. So how would you want to react to the things that were said?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I appreciate the fact that you invited us, the opposition.
ITV
Yes,
invited,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, ITV
Yeah.
invited us to respond to some of these things. When I hosted Journalists Day before yesterday, I told them to be courageous in holding government to account, because what they superintend over are our common patrimony, our common wealth. So they must account to us, bit by bit, step by step, how they superintend over our affairs. So it is very essential for us to point out the duplicity in the creation of these ministries. Many of them are nebulous, many of them are repetitive, many of them are to just show that this is job for the boys. And I made a statement when the ministries were created that I'm disappointed, because when I saw that the governor, it took him about a year to finalize the appointment of commissioners. I thought that there was so much work going into it that they were discussing, having discussions, head-hunting personnel to be able to, help the government and also help Edo people. But after that, what we have are 28 ministries overlapping, and what we have are the same people who are politicians, who have held positions before, who we know their history. That is what we have. So governance has been reduced to a complete circuit in Edo State. The special advisor mentioned just now that the governor went to Ekiti. I have a video of the governor going to Ekiti to commission some projects. And when he went there, he went with this.
No, he said the governor has been invited to come to
Ekiti State.
Ekiti State.
Yes,
Yeah,
he went there. I saw the video. He went there, and he went there with his court jesters, people who normally praise him. Oh, you don't thank governor today. We don't appreciate governor today. Son of Jesus Christ. He went there with this guy called Egogo and the other elements.
Yeah.
It's not about mentioning. There are the people. The videos,
Egogo is
the
not here
videos. No, the videos are in the public domain. That's what I saw. And they were present. So it's a complete circuit. It's a complete joke. And it is very embarrassing for Edo people, for us as Edo people, to see what is going on. Now let's look at the ministries bit by bit. For the first time in Edo State, we are having Ministry of Mining. How many local governments are involved in mining in Edo State? How much mining work are being done in Edo State?
Are you saying that
and
for the
is
first
mining
time,
even in the residual or concurrent list?
Yeah, but
So-
if I get my
Yes.
records correct, this
Yes.
is probably not the first time that we're having the Ministry of Mining.
It is the first time.
We had
We've never had a Ministry of Mining right from Bender State and to Edo State today.
but
because
we had a
mining,
commissioner. We had
mining
a,
has
we had
never
a commissioner
been.
of energy and mining during Obaseki's regime.
No, there was no mining.
No, we had.
There was no mining. Maybe energy. Okay, what's the name of that commissioner?
If you want to
No,
go,
what is the name of the commissioner? So that is the point.
I'll get
yes,
that.
okay, you get it and supply me. But we've never
had.
had a Ministry of Mining, but today we have a Ministry of Mining. How much mining is done in Edo State? Mining is not even in the concurrent list. So Edo State does not have a right to superintend or supervise mining within the state. It's complete federal list. It's on the federal list, exclusive federal list. Okay, now, what even shocked me more is that there's a ministry for environment and sustainability. But there's also a ministry for water resources and sanitation. So, when you talk about sanitation, what are you sanitizing? Is it not the environment? So when you have a ministry of environment, should you also create another ministry for sanitation? So you have two commissioners. One who is commissioner for environment. Another one who is commissioner for sanitation. So what will that commissioner be sanitizing? Is it not the environment? So these are the duplicity we talk about. Then there's also ministry. In fact, there are three ministries that are overlapping. For instance, you have ministry for business, trade, and investment. You also have ministry for finance. There is also another ministry for budget and economic planning. The commissioner for finance is also responsible for budget, most often than not, in any government, whether at the federal level or even at the state level. But today, you have a ministry for budget and economic planning. You have a separate ministry for finance. And you have another ministry for business, trade, and investment. What are these three commissioners doing? So I will just tell you what it is. You know, when Tinubu came, he said subsidy was gone. He removed subsidy and is now putting the money in the pockets of governors. But if you go to other states,
but let us
for
be
instance,
careful.
I was in Enugu State
Yeah.
in August for the BAC conference, and you see the work that the governor has done there, the roads, everything. You will hardly believe that you are in Nigeria. It's the same thing for you. It's the same thing for many other states or your state that you go to.
Okay.
But at those states, instead of using the money to work, our governor has decided to put the money in the hands of politicians and political godfathers.
Okay, but
And
let me quickly to get the record
the
straight.
creation
Yeah, Barrister
of
Ogbege.
this plethora of ministries just to take care of the boys, people who worked with him to ensure that he became governor.
Okay, but to get the record straight, because you were, asking a while ago that who was the commissioner of mining during the last administration. Now,
Okay.
maybe you may have forgotten that we had a Naholo Ojefo, who was the Edo State Commissioner for Mining and Energy from June 2023 until the end of Obaseki's term.
Okay, it's all right.
Okay,
It's all right.
Now,
Assume
that
that
is
correct.
one. Then secondly,
Yes.
when we talk about creation of new ministries now,
Yes.
now, there were some certain ministries that were created during Obaseki's regime. We had the Ministry of Public Safety, Security and Public
How
Safety.
many ministries did we have under Godwin Obaseki? How many ministries? Maybe about 16. It is unprecedented. We've never had more than 18 ministries. Not even under Adato Shomole, that was also extremely political, that we had more than 18 ministries and 18 commissioners. We've never had more. Even when we were Bendel State, Edo and Delta states put together, we didn't have even up to 18 ministries
So,
at the time.
Are you saying that we had about
With
18?
even more local governments.
So are you saying that we had about 18 ministries under Obaseki?
No, I think we had 16 ministries under
16
Obaseki.
16 ministries.
Yes,
So
that's what we had.
minus
But
20
the point is even that these ministries are overlapping. Under Obaseki, nobody complained that his ministries were overlapping or that they were not necessary, like what we have today. And I just tell you, there are some local government, because that was the reason why it took Modokbewolo so long, up to 1 year, to come up with his full commissioners list, was because the various godfathers in the various local governments could not agree on the nominees from that local government. So that is why in some local governments, he accepted more than one commissioners. He accepted 2 commissioners. For instance, in Oriomo, he took 2 commissioners. In Uhonde, my local government, before now, they had 2 commissioners. The
Yeah,
Attorney
but
General
people
and
will
the Commissioner for Water Resources.
Yeah, but people will say that the governor is at liberty. I mean, to take, that's his prerogative.
The government is
anyway.
at liberty to even appoint 100 commissioners. But is that in the best interest of Edo people? That's what you should ask yourself. Because at a time when we are complaining that we are broke, Nigeria is broke, Edo State is broke, we don't have the funds, and we cannot take care of even basic needs of our people, why should you have a big government? I have always advocated that we should, as much as possible, reduce government, make it thin, so that, you know, overhead costs will be reduced to the barest minimum. Recurrent expenditure will be reduced to the barest minimum. So how do we create revenue or funds to take care of capital projects? How do we create funds to take care of salaries of government people, of civil servants? How do we do that? It apparently shows that the governor is not interested in the people. What he's interested in is to take care of his friends, members of his political party. Now look at these 28 names that we have. I think we have 27 because there's a ministry at that time that they've not made the appointment, Ministry for Arts and Culture
it's pending.
and Tourism. Out of the 27 of them, look all of them, they are all politicians, partisan politicians, members of the APC, persons who have held positions in the past, and we know their history.
Yeah, but a while ago, you just said that the governor is at liberty to choose.
That is what I said, but is it expedient? He can even appoint 1,000 commissioners. He's at liberty to do that.
And he can choose
But
from...
will you encourage him to do that? Because we want him to succeed. Because we want him to succeed, we want him to adopt the best approach to governance. And what is the best approach? Team government. To reduce overhead costs, to reduce recurrent expenditure, and people who are focused, people who will not be tied down by political considerations. For instance, politicians will always think of next election. They will always think of, oh, maybe there are some of them in this cabinet who are interested in contesting election, maybe for Senate, for House of Rep, for House of Assembly. So they will not be able to give their best or do what they ought to do because they don't want to step on toes of some political godfathers, so they will be able to get a ticket. So why not have a mix of maybe partisan politicians and those who work in the private sector? But
right.
there's no single person with a private sector background on that list. All of them APC politicians, because they were brought in by the godfathers.
Okay, but let's also look at the agenda issue, because we remember during the last administration, we also had the mega agenda. That's the administration of former Governor Godwin Obaseki. We had the mega agenda. And of course, if you remember, every attempt that the governor made were geared towards that mega agenda.
Yes.
Now, just yesterday, the essay on media projects also talked about the Shine agenda.
Yes.
Once again, it is to further recapitulate what you said a while ago, that every governor is at liberty. You said that. It's at liberty to choose.
Yes.
You know, so...
And at liberty to fail.
So
To choose wrongly and fail.
So if Obaseki was at liberty to have the mega agenda, and of course he introduced some ministries now, like the Ministry of Mining and Energy, the Ministry of Public Safety, was introduced by Obaseki. So what makes you feel that this governor now is not at liberty to also have his own agenda, which is the Shine agenda?
I'm not saying that they should not have their agenda, but I'm saying that the government is over-bloated. We've never had it before like this. We've never had 28 ministries in Edo State. And, even these ministries, they also have agencies, parastatals, who do specialized work. You have the Produce Board. You have many other Edo State agencies who do the job. They are duplicating efforts, creating specific ministries for them as well. So if you want to have Shine agenda, whatever agenda, fine. But you don't have to have an overbearing executive to be able to carry out that agenda. Because, okay, now, one commissioner is going to have, they are buying Prado for all of them. Obaseki bought very cheap vehicles for them. They are buying Prado, expensive vehicles. The least vehicle that a commissioner uses is about 130 million.
Were you the procurement officer?
No, I mean, it's in the
Obaseki?
public domain again.
Okay.
So they can say, oh, it's not true. I'm making this point, and it is clear. It's in the public domain. And you have one commissioner will have that Prado, then they will also have a backup Hilos. Then they will have at least 4 special appointees, 8, at least 4 or 5, 8. And you're going to pay all of these people. So the cost of one commissioner, for instance, statutorily cannot be less than 10 million naira in a month. Statutorily. I'm not talking about other leakages and all of that. So as much as possible, we must block leakages. You must block areas where money will go out unaccounted for. And be shrewd in using the funds, the resources of the people and for the people. We must focus on the people in terms of giving them the dividends of democracy. It shouldn't just be politicians alone that should enjoy the dividends of democracy. It should be about the people.
Okay. All right. So let's, we're going to start from the security issue that he started from. So let's go back there now. Now, okay. You will recall that the vigilante security network that seems to have pervaded all through the country, almost all states of the Federation now. You have the special security network as put together by state government. Now, in Edo State, we also had it. I think that was an innovation of former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. Now, this governor came on board and also, let me say, continued from where he stopped in that dimension. But what we are looking at now is that what do you know or what do you think is happening differently? Because from the look of things, what is worrisome to members of the public is the very disturbing nature of what seems to be insecurity in the state as it stands today. So what do you think is happening that happened then that probably is not happening now?
Well, some of the points I made to pressmen 2 days ago when I hosted them was that this current governor completely abdicated or abandoned the projects of his predecessor, the former governor. And one of them was the security architecture of Godwin Obaseki. Now, towards the twilight of that government, we had relative security in Edo State, all over the state. So the governor ought to have looked at it. What did he do to ensure this? But instead of looking at that, they just came and scrapped the alternative security platform, or if you like, vigilante, that they had at that time. They scrapped them and they started bringing in their own people and started politicizing.
Now, when you say bringing their own people, are they not Edo-lites?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now.
Yeah.
Bringing in their own people. Say they have their people in government today, are they not Edo people? They are Edo people. So because they wanted to be partisan, they started using partisanship to getting people into the new vigilante network that they were creating for the state. And if you know politicians, you will know that, politicians have this sense of entitlement. If they feel that, oh, now I won't be this, now I won't be this, they are not going to be professional.
Yeah, but the former
during
governor
also had... During Obaseki's time, it was an open employment process. Anybody could apply. And the police were the ones that trained them.
Yeah, the same
and
thing.
They were subject to the police.
Yeah, the same thing now.
Subject, yes,
the same thing now.
I just told you that it is the partisan inclination that is different. That's what I said. Because we were bringing in their party members, mostly their party members. And if you are not going to be part of their party, you won't be allowed to join. That was what happened. So when you have politicians like that, then they have a sense of entitlement and they will feel that, oh, nothing they happen. Now our party, now we did there. That's just what it was. But under Obaseki, there was no mention of party. With these people, it was purely service and not issue of party. And that was why they were professional. And they were also subjugated to the police. They were involved with the police. And they were well scrutinized before they were employed. They were well scrutinized. They went to several trainings that they were not even one or two, several trainings. But this one was not the same. And I just wish that the governor did not start trying to dismantle the projects, the infrastructures of his predecessor. He did it in the area of security, and now we have insecurity in the land. He did it in the area of education.
Yeah, but
he did not continue with the agenda. He did it in the area of civil service reforms. Edo Best, for instance, was highly rated by donor agencies, by by World Bank, by UNICEF, as a continental example. So other African countries were coming to Edo State to learn from our educational policies under Godwin Obaseki. The same thing for our civil service reforms. The same thing for our land administration reforms with the creation of Edo GIS. But today, do you know that for the past 1 year, since this government came on board, no certificate of occupancy has been issued?
Where did you get that from?
No, it is true now. I'm saying it openly. So, I mean, I'm a lawyer, so they can sue me for defamation. So the point is, none has been issued.
But members of the public,
is this reason?
Members of the public that are
you ought to know, like journalists.
Yeah,
you ought to know that none has been issued.
That's what I'm saying now.
Is there in the public domain?
What about members of the public that are laying claims to certificate of occupancy?
Not since this government came. None has been issued. I have a couple that I applied for. They've not come out now. So it's not a secret now. It's everywhere. The news is everywhere. It's not a rumor.
But even at that, because we also understand and we remember how cases of granting CFO, that's the certificate of occupancy, indiscriminately to members of the public as at then. Those were the claims.
No, I don't think they were granted indiscriminately. I don't think so, because the MD of Edo GIS at the time is a leader of APC today, and he really created that agency. They were top notch, they were world class. It will go through processes. Only that the time we reduced. And how was the time reduced? Because at that time we had a governor who was ready to work, and he will look at it, he will sign. And of course, but when we have a governor where the signature is irregular.
You cannot.
No, that is what they said. Because they said the signature is irregular, that's the reason why they've not been able to come around.
If they say so, you cannot say so. Because if people, I mean, if you say what...
But there must be a reason why we've not been able to issue CFO.
So there's a reason, so you leave that to the governor. So
I believe, that's what I believe.
If you say what people say...
But if they say it's another thing, well, I start to be corrected.
Away from that now, let us look at what... some people also, try to react now. I mean, because what is going on in the state seems to be in response of what is happening at the national, level. Talking about, trying to replicate governance at the federal government, replicating it in Edo State. Now, it is only natural. You are a politician. It is only natural that politics is politics. It's all about winning. Politics is all about winning. So, what do you think is wrong if we have a state governor that sees the federal government winning? I mean, he also wants to replicate such initiatives and all that at the states. I mean, it's politics.
It is not wrong to copy people. It is not wrong. But what you should do is to copy what is good. Is Nigeria on the right trajectory as we speak? Since the APC government from 2015 to date, has this country been on the right trajectory, on the right direction, economy, security, and in politics? I don't think so.
So you mean
and every Nigerian should be able to answer that question in the negative.
So you mean before?
So it is what is good that you imitate. So if the APC federal government was doing well, then you can copy them and say you want to replicate in Edo State. Say you say you want to replicate what you have in the APC federal government, then you are saying that you want to replicate hunger, you want to replicate economic hardship, you want to replicate unemployment, you want to replicate shame, because that is what they brought to us so far, and that is what we can see. It's not there. We cannot see, this country is about our lives. I'm not going to go to another country. I won't leave this country for any other country. That was where we will struggle it out and we'll be able to say, look, this is the direction. I don't hate anybody. Yeah. I don't hate any political party. I was a member of the APC.
Exactly. You were a member of the APC.
Now, why did I leave? I have made that point many times. It is on principle. Purely on principle.
So since you left, APC automatically became bad?
I did not say they became bad. Even when I was there, I did not say that it was good. I never said APC was a good party.
So why did you
At the time I was there.
Why did you leave the party?
And when I was there, everybody knows why I went there.
Why did
it was in 2019 December when my leader at that time, Pastor Sajid Zeyamu, went to APC and they promised to give him the ticket to be governor. I believed in him. And I went with him to APC and he actually got the ticket. But of course, he couldn't win the election. So when last year, I was also supporting him. To also get a ticket and contest to become governor. But the powers that be, everything, they did not allow him, they brought in Monday Ukmebolo.
So does it now mean that your leader is bad? Pastor Osagi,
I did not say it's bad.
Okay, so because...
Can I say that? I did not say human beings in APC are bad, though. Don't misquote me. I'm saying that the APC, what they've offered us in Nigeria, have not been good enough. And
all right, so we leave
we can look at the economy, we can look at employment, we can look at anything, even in sports. Under the APC, we've not been able to even qualify for the World Cup. Even in sports. That's what I'm talking about. We
all
must
right,
say
so
the truth.
we will leave the discussion here this morning because of time, so that we can go over to other network centers so that they also get to the discussion this morning. Barrister Osa,
yes. I would like to
say,
anchor somewhere.
Because of time.
Yes,
because
but I would like to anchor somewhere.
I'll just give you 30 seconds.
I would like to say that I don't have any problem with those who have been appointed as commissioners. The major problem I have is that the list is over-bloated. That is one. Even they themselves, they know. The list is over-bloated. That is one. Then two, there are round pegs in square hole. Most of the commissioners don't fit into the ministries they were appointed into. If I had time, I would have gone into specifics. Because some of these people, most of these commissioners, I know them personally, individually, at least 75%, are my personal friends. They are good, they are educated, but they don't fit into the ministries, many of these ministries. Okay. Apart from the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General, who is a renowned senior advocate of Nigeria, is a guru in the area of law. Many of the others, they just fit.
All right.
They could have done well in other ministries.
Yeah, thank you so much. We will stop the conversation for now. And once again, I want to say thank you so much, Barrister Osa Ogbege, for coming on our
for having me this morning. I appreciate ITV.
All right. So we wish to further reiterate to members of the public, even to government itself, that for us as a station, independent radio and television, we do not have an opinion on these issues. Now, the reason why we invite both sides on issues is for you to be better informed and educated, so that you can actually have a handle on this development. So for us as a station, when we invite guests, the opinion and stance of these guests are entirely their opinion. It does not have anything to do with independent radio and television. All right, so we say thank you so much one more time. So we, hand it down for now, so that we take all the segments of this program this morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
If you're just joining us, the program is This Morning on ITV, and this is the Abuja Network Center. I am Charity Tanko. Yes, on the 10th of October, President Bola Tinubu granted amnesty to quite a number of persons, granted pardon to quite a number of persons, but as the list got out, there was controversy as to some of the names that were part of that list. There were so many talks, there were so many reactions from different quarters in Nigeria. There were particular names that made that list that people felt that they should not have made the list. And we can now say that, we can comfortably say that our president is a listening president, because as at yesterday, he rescinded that particular decision and a new list came out. And in this new list, some of those persons that were fingered as not supposed to be part of that list, they were actually removed from the pardon list. Some of them had their sentences commuted from life imprisonment to some years, and some of them had their own sentences commuted from rearranged by the presidency. And since yesterday, there have been reactions from different quarters in Nigeria. We are going to be looking at the matters arising coming from this particular new list that is out. And to discuss that matter with me, I have a legal practitioner with me right now on set. He is Barrister Abdulkarim Musa. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Now, I would like to ask, as a legal practitioner, that first list that came out, let's just say, because since the list came out, everybody has been blaming the president for signing that document. While some people say that the bulk of the blame should be on him, there are people who say that he shouldn't be blamed because there's no way he would have gone through all the list because he didn't compile the list. As a legal practitioner, what's your take on that?
All right, good morning. Thank you for having me. You see, the issues about whether the president compiled the list himself is a non-starter in the first place, because by the provisions of the Constitution, the president is empowered to grant clemency or pardon to convicted criminals. And in section 175 of the Constitution, that provision is made, and it is described as the prerogative of mercy. So, like I said, the issue as to whether he was the one who made the list or not is a non-starter, because he is presumed to have made the list. But then, as to the contentions that there were people on the list who were not supposed to be there, all those issues are moral considerations, because when you say something is prerogative of mercy, there are two key words there: prerogative, the exclusive power that the person has to do something, and mercy is a something granted to somebody who is not deserving. So to say that somebody did not deserve mercy is ironic, because that is what mercy is. And at the risk of sounding ecclesiastic, mercy is something that I obtained but I did not deserve. So all the people on that list did not in the first place deserve it. So to answer your question simply, the president is presumed to have made the list, and the defense that, oh, probably he didn't see all the people there, is a non-starter. It's not even a viable defense. The Constitution provides clearly that he is the only person that has the power to grant presidential pardon. So any list that comes out, it is presumed in the eyes of the law that it was the president who signed the list, and he has seen what he signed.
So what about the turnaround, the reverse list that came out yesterday? Because from your explanation right now, what the president did is constitutional.
Yes.
And it shouldn't even be questioned in the first place, because what is prerogative mercy? That means it is the president's right,
yes,
to grant clemency.
Yes.
And when they say mercy, we all agree that mercy is something that once given does not mean that
you deserve
the person merited it or
Yes.
anything. It's just
Yes.
something that is given to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So as of yesterday, another list came out.
Yes.
And those particular people that were actually pointed out as not supposed to be in the list, they were not part of the list.
Well, you see, the thing is that that's the beautiful thing about democracy, because in a democratic government, consideration is given to the voice of the people. The majority may have their way, but the minority must have their say. So it's a beautiful work that the press is doing. It was the journalists that brought out the list and subjected it to scrutiny and criticism. So while the president has the constitutional powers to grant clemency and presidential pardon, there is also a moral side to it, because law flows from morality. It is the moral standard that we uphold as a society that gives birth to law. It is the do's and don'ts in the eyes of morality, the things that we as a people collectively disallow or allow, that are encoded into the Constitution and the several laws that we have, and they become law. So at any point in time in the interpretation of the law or in the exercise of the provisions of the law, due consideration must be given to the morals that gave birth to that provision of the law. Now, when you look at Section 175 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the idea behind that provision is that there are going to be criminals who committed an offense ignorantly, carelessly, or for some other reasons, have themselves convicted. Because when I say somebody is a criminal or got convicted ignorantly, you may not know the provision of a law and you will violate it. And by a violation of that law, you'll be convicted, because you're not knowing the law is not an excuse. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So you would have broken the law and you would go to jail. Essentially, you are not a criminal. But for such a person, such provision is made in the Constitution such that upon review, because this person is essentially not a criminal, after some time, and if we see that this person has conducted themselves in a way that they can be incorporated back into the society, the president is empowered to review such persons who are not essentially criminals but got themselves in situations that were unlawful. The president is empowered to now release such people, or even criminals who have come to repent, and we have, upon consideration of their conduct, see that by the time we incorporate them into the society, they'll become useful members of the society. That is why, that is the idea behind that provision. So the outcry by Nigerians is that the president has not kept with the morals, the foundations, the values upon which that provision was made, by releasing people who were perceived to be his cronies, his friends, his relatives, or political associates, or people who are believed to be useful in election, either in terms of violence or in terms of resources to him. And Nigerians, there was an outcry. And it is commendable that there was a review. It shows that the president is listening to the Nigerian people. So the review of the list is quite commendable for me. It shows that the president has listened to the Nigerian people, and the Nigerian people has insisted on their own values.
There's the issue of morality. You talked about most of the questions raised by Nigerians were based on morals.
Yeah.
And like the case of the release of drug barons, for instance, this is a country that is constantly fighting against illicit substance abuse, drug trafficking, and all of that. Hardly a week goes by without the NDLEA arresting one person or the other. And now the questions Nigerians were asking is, if we as a country are trying to curb this menace, why release people who are responsible for this dangerous habit?
Well, just like I said earlier, when something is when there is a prerogative of mercy, you cannot question the rationale for the grant of mercy or pardon or clemency. But when you talk about the drug-related offenders who were granted pardon, I'm even of the view that more of the convicts of drug-related offenders should be pardoned.
Why?
Because we are in a very funny society. Because when you hear that drug lords are being pardoned, it is unfortunate. It is those ones that even took they committed real drug offenses that are being
Please
pardoned.
hold your thoughts there. We're taking a short break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Still matters arising on the reverse list by President Bola Tinubu yesterday concerning those that were pardoned weeks back. And I'm still here with Barrister Abdul Karim Musa, still discussing the issue shortly. My colleague from Benin will also be joining in the conversation. So you were saying something?
Yes. So, like I said I expect more drug offenders to have been released. And I've said this.
And I ask why?
Now, the thing is that, you see, a lot of drug offenders in Nigeria are people who are involved in petty drug abuses. Like
but not when you attacked a baron.
Not a baron, yes.
Well, they say drug lords.
Drug
lords. That means you're not just a
yes,
petty.
but the idea is that a person or a youth who is involved in drug abuse, is it proper that the person is convicted or the person should be rehabilitated? It is rehabilitation the person needs, not conviction. So the essence of the exercise of the presidential power to grant presidential pardon to convicted criminals in this instance should be extended to such criminals who there's an offense. There are offenses that are classified as non-violent crimes. Non-violent crimes are those kind of crimes that the criminal did not inflict any harm or injury on another person, but rather inflicted it on himself. For instance, drug abuse. It is not an offense to any other person, essentially and fundamentally. It is an infringement on a violation of the person himself who abused the drug. So for such offenders, there should be a little sympathy extended to them. And what they need essentially is rehabilitation. So for some, the idea of a prison is supposed to be a correctional center, so that such offenders go there. When they are rehabilitated, if we see that they have been reasonably rehabilitated even before the completion of their convicted term, then we should be able to incorporate them back into the society. That's why I maintain the position that I expect the president to even grant to more people. Unfortunately, the grant of this presidential pardon is not extended to such people, such drug offenders as I would expect. It's extended to drug dealers, those major offenders of drug, which is a problem because those ones are the ones committing the real crime. They are the channels through which the drug gets to the society. Those are not the kind of people that are deserving of that constitutional provision, because these ones are the ones that are institutionalizing the offense. So what I expect is the grant to people who are themselves, and because some of these offenders are people who got into such acts by reason of circumstances, social or societal in nature. So those were the class of people I expect that the president should have extended this benevolence and pardon to, and not the ones who are involved in supplying. But then, to make the issues clear, nobody has really sat down to do an analysis of the offenses that each of those people that were granted clemency particularly committed. So we should not expand beyond the scope of what we know.
Okay, we have Evans from Benin. I'm sure he is waiting to ask you a question.
All right, thank you so much, Charity Tanko there. Yeah, from our Benin Network Center, we also have our guest, Nevi Obakedo, a foremost public affairs analyst and, of course, a lecturer at the Department of Political Science and Public Administration, University of Benin. Nevi Obakedo, welcome to the program.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. Thank you for having me this morning, ITV.
All right, now the issue of the presidential, revocation of the mercy of prerogative of mercy now is, attracting a national discourse. But you tell us, because when we say prerogative of mercy, it is constitutionally backed up. I mean, it is the presidential prerogative of mercy. But from this whole development, little wonder if the president would have revoked, the sentence if people did not start reacting. And if that is the case, do you think it is still the presidential prerogative of mercy? Some call it prerogative of mercy of the public, no more prerogative of mercy of the president. What's your finding?
Well, the point of departure in assessing this debate or discourse is by looking at the legal framework of presidential pardon or presidential clemency or prerogative of mercy of the president. The drafters of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended in section 175, subsection 1 to 3 of it. They did not leave anyone in doubt about the way the president should exercise his prerogative of mercy. Number one, the president can review any punishment on any citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that is serving punishment either in prison or incarcerated. Number two, it is on the basis of his consultation with the Council of State. And number three, it is only in the area of laws that have been passed by the Act of Parliament. So, having this as a legal basis, the president can pardon any person, whether man or woman, whether the person is sentenced to death, whether the person is sentenced to life imprisonment, whether the person is serving some number of years in prison. And when we talk about the People's Court and the Judicial Court or the Legal Court,
the Constitutional Court.
Yes, it baffles me that people used to make statements. They just make statements on commonsensical ground, not on legal ground. Now, for a president, whether Nigeria president or any other president for that matter, to exercise prerogative of mercy, there are usually factors that induce it, factors that predispose it. Number one, we have what we call legal reasons. When we say legal reasons, that one is like an omnibus statement, but there are branches. There are cases that get to Supreme Court and people are sentenced, but yet there will be miscarriage of justice in that process. If the matter is brought before the president, that, you consider this person, A or B, for prerogative of mercy on the basis of miscarriage of justice that was done in the process of trying that person, the president can table that matter before the Council of State with the reasons. Then there are other legal reasons, excuse me, other legal reasons. But one thing that I've discovered after looking at the prerogative of mercy leave that the president brought out the other day before a recent reversal is that there are some persons who deliberately committed offenses that were known, who are supposed to have been allowed to pay dearly for their crime against the state, not even against citizens alone. They were granted pardon. Now, in law, there's what we call political jurisprudence, a point where political influence judicial decisions, whether judicial decisions in court or judicial decisions that the president is carrying out by the powers conferred on him. It's what we call political jurisprudence. So if you look at what the president did, you can say that there's element of political jurisprudence. Number one, because the president is gunning for 2027 general election, and he believes that the way and manner the spread of the list.
But that's playing politics with the law.
Yes, that's why I said that. I started by saying that there are reasons why the president exercises what we call prerogative of mercy or clemency or pardon. Number one is legal reasons. And I made mention of miscarriage of justice, for instance. Number two is as a result of political reasons. So the political reason is connected to political jurisprudence. Yeah. So a man who is battling for survival, a man who believes that he is going to enter into a contest where if care is not taken, he may not succeed.
So the president is right.
Yeah, the president is right. He has exercised his powers of, but as has been said in other circles, that the president is a listening president. If, as a result of the use and cries about the presidential pardon list, the president reverses himself to say, oh, in the case of Sanda, Miriam Sanda, who killed the husband, Bilyaminu Bello, and was sentenced to death. So one expect, for instance, the president to say, okay, National Council say, consider this death sentence, let's convert this one to life imprisonment. Then total pardon. It encourages people to go into crime. It encourages people, some women tomorrow, when they believe that their husband is not performing well, is not living up to expectation, they can get angry and just as, okay, my case will be like the case of Sanders. So the president, while trying to exercise his prerogative of mercy, should ensure that it is not setting machinery in motion for people to go into crime, because they will not be dearly punished they will not be duly punished for the crime that they have committed, because the punishment for each offense is well spelled out. Right. So then there are also other reasons, like trying to discongest,
just quickly, because of time,
to decongest the prisons, and therefore national reconciliation and national unity, like in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, for instance. You know, if the president grants him pardon, it's not because he did not commit treasonable offenses or he's not guilty of for some of the offenses that have been leveled against him, but in the interest of national integration and national unity, it can be granted pardon.
All right, so let's go over to Abuja now. Over to you, Charity.
Thank you very much. Barrister, we just have a minute to wrap this up. So just tell Nigerians, because most of the information that you just brought out, Nigerians are not aware of it. So what should be done in terms of educating Nigerians on these processes going forward?
Well, the most important thing is that the Nigerians we must be firm on the values that we uphold, and we must communicate at all times possible to our leaders that we expect them to make decisions across the values that we uphold, and that in the exercise of their constitutional powers, those powers must be exercised judiciously and fairly. So even if the president has the powers to grant clemency and pardon to convicted criminals, such powers must be exercised judiciously and in the interest of the greater good for the society. So it's not an issue, because we are worried. The worry is that people who are dangerous to the society should not be released back into the society. And that should be the consideration of the government and the Nigerian people and the Council of State, who the president is empowered to confer with before signing that presidential pardon. And the Council of State includes all former presidents, the Senate President, the Vice President, and such other persons. So we must extend our gaze beyond the pressing of the President to also the members of the Council of State. And we expect...
Well, I've just been told that I have more minutes, so I guess I can continue. I can ask you more questions. Okay. Does the Constitution provide the process, the criteria for which one can be granted pardon? How is it done?
Okay. The Constitution does not make express provisions for the procedure for the grant of clemency or presidential pardon. The Constitution simply provides the power of the president to grant clemency. But then the Constitution provides that that list, or in granting presidential pardon, the president has a duty to confer with members of the Council of State. And the members of the Council of State include the president as the chairman, the vice president, the Senate president, all former presidents of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all governors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are members of the Council of State. So when the president released a list of the people he granted pardon, it is beyond him. There is an input from all these persons that I have mentioned.
So for this particular list,
yes,
both the first one and the revised one,
yes,
can we comfortably say there was the input of all of this?
Yes, by the Constitution in Section 175, it is provided that the president's grant of presidential pardon is subject to the review of the members of the Council of State. So both the first one and the second one is presumed to have passed through the screening or the consideration of the members of the Council of State. And by the way that events have unfolded, one can even say or suggest that there's actually an input from these members, seeing that there was an earlier list and then there was a review. It shows that there is input from persons who have suggested that certain names should be removed or the list should be profiled in a way different from the way it was earlier profiled.
Yeah, from what you just explained, that means, you know, there was this particular name that, if I can even say, that was the particular name that started the whole thread, especially on social media. Yeah. I'm talking about Mariam Sanda, yes, the one that was convicted for killing her husband. So there was so much hue and cry that why should her name be part of that list, looking at the gravity of our offense. In fact, some people went as far as saying that if that is the case, there's some men that have been convicted for similar offenses, for the same offenses, crime, should also be pardoned. So from what you have said, yes, and constitutionally, that means she also deserved that.
Yes, see, the thing is, just like I laid the background, at the risk of sounding ecclesiastic, when we say that somebody has been granted mercy, it means that the person did not deserve it in the first place. And without whipping up sentiment, the president is empowered to grant presidential pardon to anybody. But now, in the case of Mariam Sanda, there is, like I said earlier, there is a thin line between morality and law. And when we examine criminal law, there is a criminology side to it, which is the social factors that lead to crime. So in the grant of presidential pardon to Mariam Sanda, as Nigerians saw or thought to be, the problem Nigerians had was the criminology factors associated with that grant. Those criminology is the social factors that lead a person to committing a crime. And the worry about the grant of pardon to somebody like Mariam Sanda by many people is that what will be the consideration, what will be the impact of this presidential pardon on the family of the deceased husband because of the notorious nature of that case. Secondly, what will be the impact of the presidential pardon on other persons in the society? Because The reason why people are, one of the reasons why people are convicted for offenses is that a message be sent to the larger society that if you conduct this kind of act or offense, this is the resultant effect or the punishment that awaits you. But we fear that in the event that it has now become clear that the president can grant pardon to people based on political consideration, a person can even commit a crime with the hope that his kinsman can become president one day and he'll be granted pardon. And mind you, it is not only the president that has the power, that have the power to grant the pardon. Governors, the president has the power to grant presidential pardon for offenses created under Act of the National Assembly. You know, any law made by the National Assembly is called an act. But laws made by the state houses of assembly are called laws. There are several descriptions for different laws. There are certain laws that are called acts, certain laws are called laws, certain laws are called edicts, certain laws are called decrees, depending on who made it and when it was made. By the provisions of the Constitution, governors are also empowered to grant pardon to persons who committed offenses created by state houses of assembly. So the fear is that people can now begin to commit offense. Thugs can disrupt elections. People can do anything they like if they perceive that their kinsman is one day going to become the governor and then he'll come and release them. That is why we criticize the political approach to exercising the president's power to grant pardon to convicted criminals.
As a final word, what will be your advice to government on how to do these things so that there can be trust? Because clearly Nigerians have lost trust in government, and that is the reason anytime government goes out to roll out a policy or does something, you see Nigerians coming out to criticize and say this, they will poke holes and make sure that something is wrong with this. Your advice to government going forward?
Yes, the thing is that it is unfortunate that the Nigerian people has lost confidence and faith in the Nigerian government. It shows that the government no longer serves the interests of the people, but the interests of the few people in power. What my advice would be to the government of the day is that in exercising the powers that they have in the Constitution or exercising their political authorities, due consideration must be given to the interest of the Nigerians rather than the interest of the privileged few or those in power. And if they continue to act in that path, with time, the confidence that Nigerians should have in the government will be resuscitated. But if at every juncture we see that the decisions of government are made across political interest lines, are made across election calculation lines, then the Nigerian people will not have confidence in the Nigerian government.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister Abdulkarim Musa, for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you.
We hope to have more in due course. Well, that's it from the Abuja Network Center, and now over to Lagos Network Center for the continuation of the program.
Thank you one more time, Charity. There now, it's only natural that Miriam Sanders' case seems to have taken the front burner of the presidential pardon and the revocation of the presidential pardoning. All right, so our guest is still right here, Neville Obahedo. Neville, as we wrap up now, so what is your final take on the developing story?
My final take is that as it is enshrined in the Constitution, the president can grant a presidential pardon. It is not to sit in Aso Rock and grant presidential pardon. It is to embark on wide-range consultation with members of the National Council of State, which includes all former presidents, himself, the chairman, and then past chief justices of Nigeria. So they had to deliberate on the issues surrounding the offenses that were committed in the first instance. Then the impact of such pardon on the society should be put into consideration. Well, I thank Mr. President for even listening to the cry of Nigerians. And it is a moral issue for the president to listen and to withdraw the initial list, then to now do some adjustments.
Okay.
I thank the president on that one.
Okay. All right. So I want to say thank you to you, Neville Obakedu, and also our guest in Abuja there, you know, for explaining the situation. All right. So we'll take a short pause now, or let's see if we can just link up to Lagos Network Center so that they can also have their own side of December story. Messelina.
All right, Evans, thank you so much. From Lagos, we're literally still talking about this particular topic today, where we saw that yesterday the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, signed the instrument of clemency and pardon under his constitutional powers, Section 175, subsection 1 and 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. And in course of doing this, so he directed a review of an initial approved list, which apparently included about 175 beneficiaries following public backlash. Some convicts who has been initially included had their sentence commuted rather than full pardons granted. And one of them that we would be focusing more on today is the case of Miriam Sanders. That is what we would mainly be focusing on today. Of course, our guest will be joining us shortly, so that he would help us analyze this particular topic. But Patricia Gabriel also is here with me in the studio. We'll be anchoring this particular program together.
Hi, Mercy. Thank you for introducing the wonderful topic we're going to be having today from our Lagos Network studio. But you can watch us on GoTV 140, start time 1:30, and also on the UHF channel in Benin 22 and Abuja 42. And of course, you can watch us live on our YouTube channel. Our guest is going to be joining us soon to discuss all of this that Mercy had just talked about. Let's go on a short break.
ITV, certainly the best.
So much for staying with us. Okay, our guest this morning that would be helping us analyze this topic is Chief Godi Ofase. He is a publisher and editor-in-chief of a leading newspaper in Nigeria. Hello, good morning, Chief Godi.
Good morning, Mercy. You pronounce my name so well that even Pat has never done it.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
All right, the statement are that the review, okay, we are talking about Tinubu clemency reform, kidnappers and drugs didn't make the list, you know. He pardoned some persons and some persons didn't make the list. The statement are that the review was necessary to uphold public trust and also boost the moral of the agency and ensure adherence to both domestic and international obligations. Given the removal, Chief Godi, of the convicts of kidnapping, drug trafficking, what message does this send about how such offenses are treated?
Well, I think let us establish first thing first.
Okay.
the president has a prerogative. It's solely his functions to pardon anybody who wants to pardon, whether he's a hardened criminal, a armed robber, a murderer, kidnapper, whatever he is, depending on whatever excuses he gives to pardon that person. Well, back to the reason whether he has actually is a deterrent for people not to commit such crime. Of course, a lot of people will look at it from the moral, public moral point of view, that you are not encouraging people. For instance, the Sanda issues that murdered her husband in cold blood. I mean, a lot of people, the world today frown extensively at domestic violence.
Yes.
And you know, the definition then used to be that men are the one perpetrating domestic violence against the female gender. But today it's both sides. It could be a man or a woman. So the public perception is that it might not actually become, because why people are prosecuted, do time in jail for a crime done, is as a, to pass out information that you don't need to do this, and when you do this, the long arm of the law will cut up with you. But when people wake up and now pardon those who have committed this crime, who's supposed to do jail time, who's supposed to be punished for it, and the president, because he has the power, pardon them, especially again corruption cases.
Yes. Because
we are battling with corruption issues in Africa, in the continent. I mean, several of our leaders have been accused of being corrupt, and we have also seen how they have also exhibited those proceeds of corruptions. So therefore, if you go on and pardon these people, I mean, you are not sending any signals for people to stop doing the crime. You are actually encouraging them, knowing full well that when somebody who loved them get into power, they are free men.
That of Sanders' case, Miriam Sanders' case, a lot of people frown so much at it. Imagine killing your husband. You're supposed to serve life imprisonment, death by hanging. And now the president has given a pardon of 12 years. A lot of persons, like if you go on the internet, you see a lot of persons frowning, especially at a case.
Yes, you know, the husband family is still alive. How do you expect them to feel? What kind of thing? Yes, you say for the love of the two children, right? I mean, obviously in Africa we know that. Please, I don't want to be insensitive about this. We know that men are the supposed owner of the children. They answer the man's name. Okay, they forfeit the woman's family. Even a woman, when you get married to a woman, it tends to forfeit their own surname.
Yeah.
So that means that the family obviously is the man's, right? Now, if that is the reason why you are giving her pardon, why don't you, in a sense, knowing full well that this woman could not be in her right senses, and when these children grow up, they may see this woman as the enemy, I mean, for killing their own father. And that stigma may stay with them forever. And even if anybody wants to do anything with them in the future when they grow up, that will always come up. Do you want to marry that family?
But Chief Gordy, let me come in there. Yes. We have seen a video where family are actually the one asking for this pardon. So
that's what I'm saying. The man's family?
Yes, the late man.
The late man family is the one asking for the pardon of the... If that is so, I didn't have that information at the time of making that statement. If that is so, then, I mean, I wouldn't know. There must also be some level of evaluation. Why are they asking for the woman to be released? Do they have ulterior motive? Do they think the government is not capable enough to sign a death sentence? So do they want to see the woman dead? So they must question it, because it's not right. It's not in a very right. It couldn't be in a very right frame of mind for somebody to say, somebody who have killed you, say, please release him for me. Don't worry, I will not do anything. You must evaluate it. What is the motive for that?
Okay. Moving forward, many has commended the president for removing the names of the convicted criminals from the presidential pardon list. And this shows that the president listens to us, because, you know, there was a far cry when the list came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. But this is not so with the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, who has berated President Bola Tinubu of the presidential pardon. He describes the move as an act of shame, not wisdom. What do you think? Do you agree with him on this?
Okay, I think it was even not true that a committee sat. That is my own problem. You see, the shoddy nature of how we carry out things in this country must be revisited and be treated with some level of urgencies and scrutiny, all right? You can't have a committee, a judicial committee, who sat and made this recommendation and did not know that some certain individual in that list shouldn't have made it. If indeed the committee sat. That's where Atiku's statement is coming from.
Yeah, because there's
a sudden nature that now that some names have been removed. All right, some names, not the first name that was published, not the entire people that appear in the first. So if the committee sat, the committee who sat must have collected this name across the country, across the prison, look at their case file, look at the offenses, look at the submission of the courts and why they were jailed, and look at appropriate grounds for clemency. Right? So if the committee has done that, the president wouldn't have now done the work of the committee.
Exactly.
But the Attorney General also told us in the first instance, and Prince Lateef Fagbemi says that some low staff membered in the committee, the ones that smuggled in the names.
It shows that there were no committee sitting. Well, no matter excuses anybody is making, somebody must go in for it. We have not had that an arrest has been made. We have not had that the investigation has been opened to why some certain names featured in that list. So whatever the revered Attorney General of the Federation is talking about, he is at his own level of understanding what the Nigerian people, because they see, Nigeria is not Cameroon. I'm not trying to put Cameroon in a very lowly place. What I'm saying is that we have so many intelligent people in this country. Even before you open your mouth and say something, someone has already thought about it and provide an answer for it.
Thank you, Chief Gadi. At this point, what mechanism do you think will ensure that future climate lists undergo public legislative scrutiny before approval?
Then the first thing first is that the Judicial Committee must indeed sit. They must do their job first. It's not our job to do. If we were not in this studio, this program will not go on.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right? So they must sit, and if they sit, I know they are people of impeccable characters. They are people who understand, who do not want to trade their reputation for anything. So the long and short of this is that the lists were compiled, but the committee that's supposed to sit and vet over those lists, all right, they don't sit.
Okay,
so if we must get it right at all times, those who are given the job to do must do those jobs.
Okay, we're talking about the committee didn't sit or didn't vet it. What about the presidency who just signed without, vetting? Do you think the office of the presidency is to be...
If the chairman of the committee has passed something to me, and it's not my job, if I'm a president, if I'm the MD of this office, I may not be able to sit here because I may be signing check, I may be sending a reporter to somewhere. I will be, you understand? So that's the job of the president. So somebody who sit on this place and appear on this TV now, it should be able to, after everything, put it down and take it to the MD. MD will look at it because MD did not even have the time to look at the TV. I said, okay, I sign.
Because
so the problem is not of the president. The problem is of the aide of the president. First and foremost, chief of staff. Chief of staff to the president. What is his job? These are his jobs. He makes sure that those committees sit. He makes sure that those things that they ask to be done are done. His own is to pick that final piece of document to the president and say, we need your assets. This is the word, this is what we have done, this is what we have done. So it is not the president's fault. It can't be. He has a lot to do. So the people that are given this job to do should do it appropriately.
All right.
So that some of this scandal, because all of this impact in our very national image.
Okay.
As a brand journalist, as a marketing journalist, that's where I'm going to. It impacts in our, it shows the way people perceive us in other countries. That we are people who do not take things seriously. We are people who are not mindful of their persons and their reputations.
Chief Gode,
yes.
Thank you so much. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, a lot of people outside, they are not in, I mean, this is in the Constitution. The president has a right to pardon some certain persons. But a lot of people are not in support of it, saying that what if later, if President Bola Tinubu is done with his tenure, is no longer in the seat, what if these persons later come out and start attacking again? You know, a lot of persons have been saying this. You go to the social media, they are not like in support of, you know, these people, they've committed a crime, they're supposed to be punished for the crime and all of that. You coming out to pardon them, of course, it's in the Constitution. A lot of persons are saying that it is not right. What if after everything, okay, fine, they might want to, you know, because the president is still in seat, they might want to, looking for where to put it. Okay, because the president is still in seat, would want to the president again.
The reasons why a clemency is given is that it's just not just it's not a cast in stone where the judicial committee will just write it. See, they go around the prison across the country. The convict must be of best behavior. He must have shown appreciable level of change in character. All right. He must have been over time see that look, you have changed, you have a change of character, you have been living well, you have been preaching or talking about good behavior in the prison. You can be recommended for clemency. And when that happens, such person would hardly come back and begin to engage in those crimes. Now, except the kind of clemency that we see that are not very clear, then you can suggest that. All right? There are steps that follows before a clemency is given. And that is why it requires president's accent.
Yeah.
Now, don't also forget that governors at their level don't give clemency. So what they do is that they go from time to time periodically to the Chief Justice of the federal of the state, to the Attorney General of the state, when the prisons are congested, and look at the cases. In the case of the governor, the cases that have not been resolved over time. If you stole a chicken,
okay,
or if you stole a chick, or if you stole a goat from the neighbor, and they take you to a police station, and the police took you to the court, they remand you in prison custody. For instance, such a case, you don't need to spend more than 3 years in prison custody. And the awaiting trial found out that you are almost about 8 years. The governor will say, release him. He has already served his term. And over it. So those are the things that the governor do. But at the level of presidency, it is clemency.
Okay, Chief Gode, should Nigeria establish an independent clemency commission similar to the parole brought to depoliticize the process?
Well, how are we sure? Even if you set it up, you are not going to fill the committee with all manner of your party members, all manner of the people. You see, the committee is not a problem in Nigeria. All right, the process of selecting members is the problem. So whatever happens, we have a DSS in Nigeria, which is like a secret police in the US. Are they the same? Are they doing the same? Are they not still, those ones, are they not still doing the job of what the president says? That's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, it's not all about this committee. In fact, if there is a law, Nigeria is a country that has more law than even United States of America. But do we abide by our laws?
Okay, Gode, we're running out of time. But let me quickly ask you this. coming back to Miriam Sandys, because it's been an issue, everybody's discussing it right now in Nigeria. So for clarity, and that's of course your opinion, it's not the opinion of the television house, that's of course your opinion. Do you think the presidency will want to revisit this case because people are crying out again, just like he did with the first list?
The assent has already been given. I mean, it has been given about, is it 11 years, 2031 will be the year she will be released. It's not going to be released immediately. For the purpose of those who do not understand, a clemency can be deferred, it can be deferred, it can be changed from death sentence to life imprisonment. That's clemency. So what better choice, what better alternative do you have? Instead of being killed, they just ask you to live until you die on your own and in a confinement. So he has been given that, and he has been given. So the moment the assent has been given, cannot be withdrawn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
All right, Chief Gadi, should public sentiment of forgiveness from victim factors into clemency decision? I guess you.
Of course, I said that. I mean, if a crime basically was committed against my family from another family, I'm the one asking for it to be pardoned. All right. So but forget I just want to give it. I just want to give a clarity here.
Okay.
There are civil case, there are criminal case. Civil case is against you person to person. Criminal case are against government and the accused. So when you murder someone, it is no longer, if you had murdered my person, it's no longer in my hand.
All right, thank you so much.
You. So it's in the government's hand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gadi.
Thank you.
Oh yes, I mean, you have just asked Gadi all the questions that I thought that we should ask. I mean, please actually have dealt with them.
All right, thank you so much, Chief Gadi, for coming.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all for joining us this beautiful morning from our Lagos Network studio on CMI. We would be handing over to Benin for the continuation on CMI. I am Marcelina Nkwo. To stay.
The news updates at 9:30. My name is Evan Sudokugi. The presiding apostle of the Light of World Bible Church of God International Incorporated has held its 2025 annual convention. The convention, with the theme of Breaking Limits, was an avenue for all members to appreciate the fulfillment of God. Jonah Mowa has the details.
The 2025 National Annual Convention of the Light of the World Bible Church of God International Incorporated brought together all members of the church to celebrate the faithfulness of God in their lives 30 years on. Speaking on the topic, breaking limits in Nigerian political space, the presiding apostle, Dr. Samuel Igareba, emphasized that God cannot be limited by any force in the world.
If God is limitless, then any limit in your life, in your family, in our nation, Nigeria, in the light of the World Bible Church, will be conquered in the name of Jesus.
Some church members expressed thanks to God for his goodness in their lives in the last 30 years.
30 years of faithfulness. It's been 30 years of God's awesome power in our midst. It's been 30 years of his faithfulness, of his healing, of his protection, divine protection upon our lives.
Though there have been ups and downs, God has been faithful. You can see the crowd in the church. That is to say that God has been faithful, and his tender mercy has been upon our life.
God's success in our midst. God has been faithful. He has kept many. He has grown the church from little to become what you are seeing today.
It has been a wonderful journey all the way from the year 1995 to the present day, which made it the 30th anniversary. We are so grateful to God. God has been so powerful in our midst.
The convention service featured songs, dance, and thanksgiving to God by all church members and guests who graced the occasion. From Benin, Jonah Omowa, ITV News.
In a bid to fight insecurity in the Esan West local government area, Edo State, the acting chairman, Honorable Blessing Ewudage, has inaugurated a joint security team and empowered them with motorcycles to ensure swift surveillance. Francisca Egenegbale reports that the acting chairman also assured the team that other provisions to enhance their operations will be provided. The report is presented by Efosa Wangwe.
For some time now, there has been reported cases of kidnapping and other insecurity threats in Esan West local government area and its environs. To this end, the acting chairman, Honorable Blessing Ewudage, in a speech during assumption of office, assured the residents that everything will be done by his administration to ensure safety stay in their homes and business environment. In keeping with his promise, the chairman inaugurated a joint security surveillance team comprising the Army, Police, NSCDC, and the Edo Security Network, and also provided them with necessary logistics for them to carry out their functions effectively. Handing over the motorcycles to representatives of the various security formations, Honorable Blessing Ewudage tasked them to ensure they put in their best to tackle insecurity in the area head-on.
We are not against any particular tribe. All we are saying is that all cattle dealers to leave the booth of Esan West. Even if we are EGG and we are a cattle dealer, for security purpose, we are saying leave the booth. Our people cannot let us go to the farm, they cannot let us go to the market. So we want to claim our land back. We are tired of paying ration.
Responding, the representatives of the various security outfits, while assuring that they will do their best to ensure the safety of lives and property, also reminded the people to furnish them with information, as according to them, all hands must be on deck to fight against the ugly menace.
It is part of the agenda of the executive governor of Edo State to ensure that the state is safe, and the chairman of the local government has also followed suit. We are battle ready. Even before now, we have been doing the needful. We are very happy for the kind gesture. We try as much as possible to collaborate with other security agencies within Esan West to ensure that kidnapping are able to nip it to the bud.
From Ekpoma, the administrative headquarters of Esan West local government area, I am Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
Elders and youth leaders, also known as Okagide, at Igwisogman community in Ovia Northeast local government area, Edo State, have clarified that the internal crisis in the community has since been resolved by the parties involved in a power tussle, as both parties obeyed the verdicts of the Palace of the Oba of Benin. Ikmamusa Ogiagbe has the details.
A statement jointly signed by some elders, namely Pa Itua Imagbe, second in command, Pa Igbinosun David, third in command, Pa Igbinosun Ehi, fourth in command, community secretary, Pastor Aigbe Obo, and Okai Mr. Pulin Eho Tome, expressed dismay that one Mr. Iyobo Agmoze Igbinovia, who has been banned among others from the community, is parading himself as secretary of the community and allegedly spearheading one Mr. Paul Oriokpayo Osemigi as the Ojonwe of the community in the media, which the elders consider as impersonation. The statement clarified that at present, Igwe Sogma community has no Ojonwe as the former is deceased. It explained that the verdict of the palace of the Oba of Benin was that the eldest man in the community should join hands with the first 4 elders to administer the affairs of Igwe Sogma community along with the Okairele until 3 years before an Odionweye is installed. It stated that the 4 elders, Okairele, and the community hold tenaciously to the verdict of the palace of the Oba of Benin. The statement warned that any person or group of persons that transact business with Mr. Iyobo Igbinovia and Mr. Paul Oriokpayo Osemige are at their own risk. It stated that the palace of the Oba of Benin never approved Mr. Paul Osemige as the Odionweye of Igwe Sogma community. The elders cleared the air that Mr. Frederick Osaodion, fondly called Silemfan, is a bona fide native of Igwe Sogma community. In a previous news statement aired on a television station, Pa Paul Osemige and Mr. Iyobo Igbinovia claimed that the palace of the Oba of Benin recently appointed Pa Osemige as Odionweye designate following the death of the former Odionweye. Ikmomosa Ugiagbe, ITV News.
And with that, now we end the news at 9:30. Thanking you for watching. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
right, thank you one more time. The program is still on your television. This morning on ITV. Now we have some gentlemen here. Obviously, they are lawyers. And of course, in the next few minutes, they're going to be talking about legal practitioners' remuneration for business, legal service, and representation order 2023 of the NBA. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program this morning on ITV. All right, so we have Barrister Ede Asenongwan Esquire, a former chairman of the NBA Benin branch. So you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Then also we have Jackson Ehiavi Esquire, former treasurer, NBA Benin branch. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Then Osayuki King Agbonga is also with us, former assistant secretary, NBA Benin branch. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let me start with Barrister Ede Asenongwan. Now, when we say new remuneration order of the NBA, what exactly are we talking about?
We are talking about a law passed by the National Assembly, made pursuant to the Legal Practitioners Act, which regulates and stipulates the remuneration chargeable by lawyers for services that we render to the general public. So that order deals with what lawyers should charge, the kind of fees, the kind of services we render. So it's a complete document that dictates what we should charge based on the services we render to the public.
Okay. All right. So, Barrister Sayuki, now, when we say lawyers now, because you have different lawyers in town, a lot of persons and all that. Now, I want to believe that it is only members, only lawyers that are duly registered that have gone to the bar that we're talking about here.
Yeah, when we mean lawyers as it is, lawyers who have been called to the Nigerian Bar Association, who are licensed to practice here in Nigeria.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have the list. I think we'll just let it scroll so that we get to see what we're talking about. Now, this order, it has to do with regulation of remuneration generally. Then we have remuneration with respect to other matters, exclusion of certain expenses, draft to the client's property. Now, Barrister Asenongwan, can you just highlight them?
Yes, basically, the area we really want to bring to the public, which seem not to have gained traction, or which the public seem not to have appreciated, is the area dealing with preparation of land agreements, land instruments. People buy land, you do leases, you do mortgages, and then lawyers are involved. First, we want to tell the public that, look, it is an offense for a non-lawyer to prepare what we call sale agreement for land. It is an offense. Any transaction involving conveyance or transfer of land must be prepared by a lawyer. And once it is not prepared by a lawyer, it is an offense. The document is void. It's null and void, as it were. You know, many people seem not to be aware of this position. We've had instances where people just go to business centers and then they just write agreements between themselves. And even some of the business centers, they are bold enough to put prepared by documentary services. Those are clearly criminal actions. And they can be charged to court, prosecuted, and convicted for that offense. They do not know. So we need to enlighten the public to let them know that. And then secondly, only lawyers that are licensed to practice for that, you can prepare those agreements. So by that order, and then resolutions made pursuant thereto, the NBA Benin branch has come up with a stamp. So any agreement to be prepared by a lawyer must be countersigned and stamped by the Nigerian Bar Association Benin branch. It's a position that is operating across the country. So any lawyer today, apart from the lawyer preparing it, putting his own stamp and seal, the NBA must countersign it for it to be effective. And that is what we want to bring to the attention of the general public. You need not engage letter writers, and it is not even every lawyer that would just, do it between you and the client in his office. It's no longer the order. Okay. So any such document now that does not carry the NBA stamp and seal is irregular.
Okay. Now, Barrister Sayuki, now, Barrister Asenongwan just said that it is only lawyers that are registered to practice for that year. Yes. Now, this is a problem. I'm probably just hearing it for the first time. For me, a lawyer is a lawyer. Now, how will members of the public know that Barrister Asenogwa is, licensed to practice for that year?
Yes. How you will know that a lawyer is licensed to practice for a particular year is by their office seal. When their thesis is sealed to the document, and of course you look at the year the seal was issued, you know this lawyer is licensed to practice. And of course, if a lawyer is preparing a document for you, the lawyer definitely will affix his or her seal to the document. And like my learned senior have just mentioned, it doesn't just stop there. You have to take that document to the MBA. And of course, you don't pay through the lawyer anymore. You pay into a designated account and sent forth by the Nigerian Bar Association Benin branch. Like he mentioned, this is all over Nigeria. We are just a branch trying to pass the message and educate, individuals within the Benin branch jurisdiction. So the lawyer faces his seal. Now you pay to an account designated by the MBA, the branch, and of course, the MBA puts its own seal and sign. Now, apart from this arrangement we have currently, we are even trying to secure the property for the buyer. I think that is the most important part that our viewers need to understand. Okay. Gone are those days where you buy property and you go to the roadside to prepare a document, and the next few months you find yourself in court. What you have just done, you have bought litigation. So the MBA is trying to step in to see how we can protect you and your transaction by giving you a document that is enforceable, by ensuring you get a document that, even if you pass away, your document is secure. Like what we do say when we discuss as lawyers, we'll say a buyer of a property is prepared to pay an agent 10%, but you are drawing back your feet to pay a lawyer. You forget that 10 years to come, if that matter should get to court, nobody will ask, did you pay your agency fee? They will ask you, do you have a proper document to show that you purchased these properties? And that is where the lawyers come in.
Now, Barrister Jackson, it is probably funny with the way members of the public behave, when it comes to properties. Now, you have some set of people that any person can prepare any documents. They tell you that the lawyer has registered it. I wanted to shed light on that one. And secondly, why is it that your attention seems to be more focused on land? I mean, there are other properties we're talking about. For example, I can make to do away with my old vehicles and all that. So why the interest is on land?
Land as it is in Benin, in this jurisdiction where we are, Benin, land is the 90% of the litigation we do here is based on land. Purchase of land, community land, inheritance, and whatever it is. Out of the concern that the Benin branch, as part of one of its social responsibility, seems to wake up, there may be something that we can do to stem this tide. Because at times you see in Benin, it is difficult for you to purchase a land, go and sleep, come back 5 years time, I want to develop. Maybe before you get there, somebody else is already building. But if you go through this process we are trying to implement, you come to a lawyer, the lawyer prepares the document. As it takes it to the MBA, it passes through that procedure. Yeah. The MBA retains a copy of your document. If tomorrow somebody else comes with the same description of land, the MBA will raise it. That's already a red flag. There is already an interest in this land. Even in the small way we will be able to manage it. There's already an interest in this land, which we now in a way try to drag attention that you cannot go on with this transaction because there's already an interest. So that one in a way will tend to guide the other party. Because in land as it is one thing that a lot of people in this jurisdiction are interested in. When you see maybe like 5 years ago, this area is not an area you think is commercial. I was surprised when I came to this area. Now I can see that almost everywhere is open. This was not the position. Before, when you are coming from Lagos, when you get there, you don't think you have gotten to Benin before. But you see, because the land is growing by the way, communities are expanding. Yeah. We have different community associations, they are coming up. That is the reason why we have put this in place.
taking hints from the national
Okay.
to ensure.
All right, so, but yeah, because of time, now, Barrister Asenegwa, quickly, just run us through, because I understand that you have lists of various prizes, if I'm correct now. I think my PD can also oblige us of that so that we see it on screen as Barrister Asenegwa, take us through the list.
Basically, the common balance we say is that it's the 10% regime.
Okay.
Anybody who is doing a land transaction, you are expected by law to pay 10% of the consideration, the purchase price, to the lawyer. It is only when, for instance, the money becomes higher, maybe they are in the excess of 50 million, then the law makes provision for a reduction in the percentage. To after the first 50 million, 10%, the second 50 million, 5%. So if it's there in the law clearly stipulated. So anybody that is buying property less than 50 million naira, you must pay.
Can you just run us through maybe like five?
The first 50 million is 10%.
Okay.
The next 50 million is 5%.
Yeah, that's what we have on the screen.
After that, every other listing is 3%.
Okay.
So you find that as the millions increase in the hundreds, the percentage begins to go down.
Okay.
So, but basically, we just say, oh, you are supposed to pay 10%. But the lawyer knows that once it is in excess of 50 million, from the first 50 million, between the second 50 million and 100 million, you are now to take 5%. So that's the way it is graduated under the law.
All right,
and we need the general public. Everybody can have access to that law. So it is not something you can be cheated about. So if the lawyer, you come to the lawyer and the lawyer says that you take a copy of the law.
All right, so for more information, members of the public can approach the NBA Benin.
Yes, you can approach the NBA Benin.
Okay.
To ensure that the lawyer who is working for you is licensed to practice
for that year.
So, and then you find that we tell people, sometimes they just tell you just prepare, but if a lawyer does not have his own seal, because that seal is issued every year, and you will see that the seal that is being pasted is said valid.
All right, thank you so much.
So that's just the way it is.
All right, so we go over to Lagos now for the social media segments of the program this morning on ITV. Please stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to TMI Socials, where we talk about trending updates, trending stories, making waves on social media. All right, the first story we would be talking about today is a trending story of the Emir of Kano, where it says Nigeria is so classless society, where you have highly educated people in government who behave like illiterates and turn to praise singers. He said Sanusi blasts Nigerian politicians in power. Take a look at the video before we look at people's reaction.
Classless society. If you take the people you call leaders, go to the Senate, go to the House of Reps, you can go and pick 109 Nigerians at random without election, put them in the Senate chambers, and the results may not be different from what you're getting now. Okay? Because the truth is, you have highly educated people in government, but they behave like illiterates.
Interesting. It said Nigeria is a classless society. All right, let's take a look at people's reaction about this particular story. Pastor J.A.O. says it is easier to criticize from outside. Let him list his achievements and accomplishments as a central bank governor. All right, let's take a look at another reaction. Ali says the major problem is not their education, but what they're educated on. The quality and the life relevance of the knowledge and information available in this school are outdated when it comes to solving our problems in Africa. Too many politicians will aspire ideologies and greed. Take a look at another reaction. All right, this is from Joel. Joe says, it is he is right, though. He is guilty of what he's saying. He maintained this as CBN governor and emir, but became guilty after he was dethroned. Interesting. Okay, that is for that. The next story we would be looking at today is few weeks back we've been seeing demolition in Lagos, Oworoshoki, and a lot of people came out, you know, most of those persons, their houses were demolished, came out to cry to the government, and you know, it has got a lot of reactions sparkling all over social media. Take a look at the video, of course, before we go to the reaction. I mean, this is so sad. Let's take a look at the reaction. Pastor says people in power just don't care. Why put the people you promise to protect and make their lives better in misery and pain? These people in power act like demigods because of the amount of psychopathy Nigerians give to them. Interesting. Let's take a look at another reaction. All right, this other person says, election is coming. They will still give them bags of rice to vote. And the funny part is that they will still vote them. Development involves demolition, but it has to be done with the people in mind. Where are those old ones supposed to start from? Okay, let's take a look at the last reaction from this particular story. Staker said, this is what tribalism has brought to them. Corruption doesn't know your tribe when it starts affecting you all. Interesting. This is so the demolition, they gave them quick notice, tell them, okay, you have to, you know, relocate from this particular place because it's not built. It's probably a government property or so. That is why I would always advise that whenever you want to get a property, a land, start building a house, you need to consult the right professionals, you know, to be able to know if this land is okay for you to start building on or to purchase. All right, the last story we would be talking about today, we saw a protest in Cameroon. Protesters have erupted across Cameroon after 92-year-old President Paul Biya, who has ruled for more than 42 years, was declared winner in just concluded election. And a lot of Cameroonians, they've come out to say that we do not want this particular person. Take a look at the video. I mean, he's 92 and he has ruled for 42 years and he's still declared as a winner. It has got a lot of people talking on social media. Let's take a look at the reactions. Okay, this person says, they have been bent for too long. It is time to break. Okay, let's look at another reaction. The youth and majority communities of the people of Cameroon are tired and fed up with Paul Biya rulership. Biya has been in power for decades. Some of them can't even relate what is life outside Biya's rulership. They want to experience life in Cameroon under a different regime. They have equal right to protest. They deserve better. Okay, this is all we would be able to take on TMI Socials this beautiful morning. A very big thank you to all of you that have watched us from our Lagos Network Studio, Benin Network Studio, and Abuja Network Studio. Thank you so much for watching. I am Marcelina. Just stay safe out there.